Ladies and gentlemen, pinakikilala ko sa inyo ang dalawang matapang na senador ng Pilipinas. Tagisan ng tapang sa pagsalita. Hindi ba pwedeng pag-usapan nyo ng maayos at walang sumisigaw? Hindi na bale sana kung kayong dalawa lang. Igalang nyo ang institusyon at kinabibilangan nyo. Dahil nakatingala sa inyo ang mga tao na bumoto sa inyo. Kung may argumento kayo, ipakita nyo sa mataas na level ng mga karunungan na dala nyo sa bawat isa. Hindi tulungan ng aso at pusa ang Senado. Para pinawawan nyo ang pagpili ng mga tap niya sa Senado. Maging gentleman sana kayong dalawa.
Sabi ko, pare, baka pwede makiusap. This is too important.
Mr. President, my question, first of all, I don't know anything about this bill. Nothing. It just came out of the air. So this is a Senate concurrent resolution. This is not a simple resolution. And I was a majority leader, like you've been also a minority leader, I believe, a majority leader. And the concurrent resolution has a force of before the Supreme Court came out with the decision that it does not have a force of law, but it used to have a force of law. So ang question ko lang dyan, Mr. President, is, with due respect to him, I know it's a local issue. I know it's a local issue, and it's important to you guys. And I don't want to disenfranchise anyone. Ang akin lang sana, explain sana sa amin, ano itong pag-usapan natin. Yun lang. And I asked a colleague who represents particularly before these 10 EMBO barangays, I asked her, and she also doesn't know what's going on. Due courtesy lang ba? Sort of some respect and due courtesy.
Mr. Senate President, before that, am I correct that the former Senate President wants to move that we suspend the consideration of this concurrent resolution and discuss it tomorrow? If yes, then may I make a...
Yeah. Mr. President, my question, first of all, I don't know anything about this bill. Nothing. It just came out of the air. So this is a Senate concurrent resolution. This is not a simple resolution. And I was a majority leader, like you've been also a minority leader, I believe, a majority leader. And the concurrent resolution has a force of before the Supreme Court came out with the decision that it does not have a force of law, but it used to have a force of law. So ang question ko lang dyan, Mr. President, is, with due respect to him, I know it's a local issue. I know it's a local issue, and it's important to you guys. And I don't want to disenfranchise anyone. Ang akin lang sana, explain sana sa amin, ano itong pag-usapan natin. Yun lang. And I asked a colleague who represents particularly before these 10 EMBO barangays, I asked her, and she also doesn't know what's going on. Due courtesy lang ba? Sort of some respect and due courtesy. Yun lang akin, Mr. President. I have, again, if I raised my voice, it's because, it didn't have to go that way, and I apologize if I raised my voice. Okay? Ang akin dyan, if it will help you, maybe we can pass this, we can take it up tomorrow. Ang akin lang naman dyan is nabigla ako, dahil nasa taas nga ako, at biglang may concurrent resolution about these barangays. Wala naman sa agenda today, Mr. President. So, my appeal to the good gentleman is give us time to at least explain to us what it is all about. We have no caucus. We've never had a caucus since I asked for one in the beginning of the incumbency of the good Senate President. So I don't know, if we had a caucus, you could have raised it there and said, this is a very simple piece of resolution, nobody's going to get affected, we're going to get them to vote at least in these elections. If I was told that, then I would have no problem. Pero biglaan eh. Ngayon ko lang nakita yung document, here, just now, when I went down. So, that is all I'm asking because we're not the house of, we don't want to be like other establishments na, ano lang tayo, in the midnight hour, we're passing measures. No, we're not like that. Senator Cayetano knows that. That's her pet peeve. She doesn't like to pass things in the middle of the night when nobody's around. I know that. Because we have traditions, and it's a time-bound tradition. So mine is not, I'm not even asking anymore, I'm not raising a point of order. Because our agreement in the past is that we will take up on the floor what is the agenda for the week. And this is not even in the agenda for the week kasi bago lang to. And I understand kung bago lang to because of the lateness of the hour, meaning the lateness of the session, and this might be able to help Senator Cayetano. But we have another session tomorrow, Mr. President. So there should be no problem. All we need to know is just understand what is this all about? How can we help you? Ayaw ko din ma-disenfranchise sila eh. Ayoko din, Mr. President. Yung mga taga Tagig at sa Embo Barangays. Ang gusto ko lang sana is just explain to us what this is all about. Because this is a concurrent resolution. If it was a simple resolution saying that the Senate would like the COMELEC to recognize these Embo Barangays and come up with this procedure, wala po akong problema, Mr. President. But this is a concurrent resolution, which is a tad higher, a notch higher in terms of implementation and validity. Yun lamang po, Mr. President. No offense meant to my dear colleague. I know it means a lot to him. I'm not here to stall, and I'm not here to disenfranchise anyone. Yun lang po, Mr. President. Yung akin lang, sana ma-explain lang sa amin. And with due respect, we're all elected senators here. I will not pass a measure na hindi ko papadaanan sa inyo or to anyone, in fact, without going through the motions. Yun lang po, Mr. President. Yun lang request ko. It's just a simple request that tradition should be followed, at least to explain to us, at least come up with an interpellation on the measure on this particular concurrent resolution. Because even with simple resolutions, we have periods of interpellation. We have period of amendment in simple resolutions, lalo ng concurrent resolutions. So yun lang po ang request ko, Mr. President. Thank you.
Mr. President, let me just state
Before the Honorable Cayetano responds with his manifestation, Chair would like to place on the record. Number one, as correctly pointed out by Senator Zubiri, this is a concurrent resolution, and by virtue of the Supreme Court decision, is no different from an ordinary resolution. Hence, it does not have to go through 3 separate readings on 3 separate days. Number two, we did give due courtesy to Senator Nancy, even if this involves barangays that are no longer part of Makati, but because the chair thought it used to belong to Makati, we cleared it with her. I don't know if the statement of the gentleman was stated on the record that we consulted their administrative staff. The answer is no. We consulted the chief of staff named Christine and her head of legis named Isa, who according to them consulted the good senator about it, and the response was, she can confirm or deny the same tomorrow, it has nothing to do with Makati because it has everything to do with Taguig. Hence, we proceeded and clarified it with the minority leader, with the indulgence of the minority leader, given the urgency of the matter as raised by Senator Cayetano. Just to place that on the record. Senator Cayetano.
Yeah,
is
Mr.
recognized.
President, thank you for clarifying that because I just like to put on the record, this is my 3rd term as a senator. I've been a majority leader, minority leader. Never po ako nagpalusot ng kahit anong bill sa kahit anong oras. I know my responsibilities here. I know the rules. Lahat naman tayo hindi perfect. Siguro ilan lang sa kwarto na to and mostly they're from the staff ang memorize ang rules, no? Kaya nga makikita ng mga taong nanonood ngayon, lumalapit pa kami dyan sa harap or dito sa gilid sa staff kapag ka magtatanong sa rules because may precedents yan, rich na yung history. Now, we did not violate the rules because the joint resolution, the concurrent resolution was filed yesterday, and unlike before that it was treated like a with force of law, dinadaan po natin yan in a process that's like that. But after the Supreme Court decision na sinasabi it's like a resolution, it's the sentiment, yung kalooban ng House at Senate, we treat it like any other resolution. The person objecting now was our former Senate President. He knows naman that you do not go to all 24 senators. You go to the minority because you're part of the majority. And I did go to the majority last night pa. Last night, the Senate President advised me to talk to Senator Nancy, and due to some recent misunderstandings, he offered na kung gusto mo, ako nakakausap. And I waited all day long until nga mag-respond yung Chief of Staff niya. So, it's not just an emotional issue. It's not a local issue. It's an issue of constitutional importance, the ability for people to vote. The good senator, Senator Zubiri, said kung i-explain lang sa kanya, kaya nga ako lumapit sa kanya sa harap eh. Sabi ko, gusto mo explain. Sabi niya, bukas na. Sabi ko, I don't wanna take the risk. nakita nyo naman yung mga ulan ngayon, kung bumagyo